Hey there, we are the Gratitude Girls.
Hello, good evening. Rara is in the house. I'm Catherine Asaro Myers. And hi, Lori.
Hi, how are you tonight?
I'm really awesome. I'm so excited to be here again. Of course, I'm excited because this is our show and I don't know what I would do without it. But I'm really excited tonight because we have another amazing, awesome guest. Lori, I just want to ask you a question. I was thinking about this today. Sometimes we have like really special things that go on in our life and we're celebrating them. And I know that we both do celebrate lots of things in our life. But what do we do on a day where we're not celebrating anything? Is there something that you do to make it a special day?
Yeah, you just find a reason to celebrate because every day is a great day, right? If you woke up breathing, it's a great day. So there's reason to celebrate right there. And just, focusing on what you can be thankful and grateful for. There's something every day, no matter what. And then if you can't think of anything, Google the crazy calendars, and there's always funky different kinds of days that you can choose to celebrate, something like watermelon spit and seed day or whatever.
I love that. I love that because I know that there are days that we're like, oh, it's a birthday, it's this, and all of those things are important, but sometimes it's just a Tuesday or it's just a Wednesday, and I don't want it to be anticlimactic. Now, if our guests are listening, they're wondering, what are we babbling about? Let's give our audience a little bit of background. I don't know, background or backstory or the story about what are we doing here? Why are we the Gratitude Girls? And I always ask you about that. So I'm going to just give a 2-minute intro to that. I'm going to ask if you can start the story for us. I'm honored to be here. I'm sitting in Toronto, Ontario tonight, Canada. I'm honored to be here tonight with you, Lori, and with our guest, and to be once again going into another year for us. I mean, we were celebrating that for sure. What I'm really excited about is this is part of our life. Gratitude girls, gratitude exercises, gratitude terminology. And I don't know what I would do without it. It's in us. So how did this happen? Why are we so dedicated, to this, to each other? Can you share a little bit about how we met and how our story began?
Yeah, of course. So Catherine and I met actually on stage in front of thousands of people. We both are in a company and we both won an award. And it's at our international convention. And there's usually one person that's featured for the yearly award. And they called Catherine's name. And so I was busy taking pictures and photos and videos, but I had never met Catherine. But that's just always what I do anyway, right? Because we celebrate people. And then a few minutes later, our CEO announced that he was going to have a tie that year, and he announced my name. And so Catherine and I actually met on stage. We are in a direct sales company and we're cross-lined to each other. So we met on stage, but then we just instantly, like 3 minutes, Gratitude Girls was born and we became business partners, and we've been going ever since, almost 6 years.
6 years. It's amazing how it flies, and we couldn't imagine really then. We knew something great was going to happen. And for the audience and people that are watching us live or watching us on the replay, you do never ever know what is going to happen from 1 minute to the next. So if you truly believe that you can celebrate today for today, not knowing exactly what's going to happen, and then you meet someone and you lock eyes, you have something in common with them, and you feel something, you might, in fact, create. This is a business for Lori and I, but it's not a business for business. It's a business for us to share gratitude. We did not know that morning when we woke up that we were really having a calling to open a platform for people to share their stories. We didn't know that. We just knew the life that we lived. And when Lori and I felt that, we decided we needed to bring it bigger, to do something for the other people in our life, and not team members, people, family members for some of them. Some of them were people we do not know. And over the last 6 years, our guests have been amazing. So I wanted to just pose this to you, to the audience. If you are not at this exact moment grateful for something, be grateful for this moment, because this moment could be the catalyst for the next one, obviously, and something big might come of that. And that's what happened to us. We are always there and ready to receive because we are in abundance. Thank you for letting me open the story, open our show with that tonight, Lori, because it is because of our openness that we are truly both here. Correct?
That's right. Absolutely. Got a little bit distracted. I got some roses.
Oh, just now?
Just now, yes.
Let's see them. Let's see them.
Yes.
Oh, wow. Beautiful. And as we are speaking about from one moment to the next, yeah, hi. From one moment to the next, we don't know what's going to happen. And this is live. Here it is. This is what happens to us. Well, Lori, we are open to that, open to love and health and wealth and great experiences and abundance. I'd like to take a minute to talk a little bit about the guest that we have tonight. I'm not going to steal any of her thunder because I would like her to tell you herself, but talk about meeting people. So have you ever walked into a room and met someone, as we just talked about, locked eyes and thought, oh, I really have to get to know that person. I really want to get to know that person. Gee, I kind of feel like I know that person. If you've ever felt that, this is what happened. Edith are both part of the BNI to be. And when we met, I walked into a room, I was invited, I didn't know anyone. It's happened to me a million times before. I walk into a room, oh, I did know one person, Fabrizio. And I walked into the room and I felt this warmth radiate from Edith. The room was warm, but Edith had this amazing eye contact. She came right over to me. She spoke to me and I felt something. And we made a connection. I feel like I could call, text, send Edith the message at any time of the day or night, and Edith would be right there. That's how I feel about her. So if you've never felt that, please tune in to the things that go on between people and look for the signs. Edith, I want to applaud you and welcome you to the Gratitude Girls show tonight. Thank you so much for being a guest here with us.
Wow, what an intro. Thank you. Rara, you know what you describe is so much what I felt when we first met, because there you were, Rara's in the house, and there's so much excitement and life that comes from you. It just emanates, oozes from you, and it's wonderful, and it's welcoming, and it's inviting, and it's just beautiful. And I felt so connected to you right away. I think it was so mutual, and I feel so grateful to have you in my life. I thank you so much. And Lori, it's the first time meeting you, so thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk with you and just share some time with you. I really am very honored to be here. Thank you.
Well, Edith, thank you so much for being here with us. So let's talk a little bit about, aside from our connection, which is awesome, and I know it's going to continue growing, let's talk a little bit about the magnetism that you give off. And is this something that you have had for most of your life? Is it something that you learned? Is it something that someone taught you? Is it you wake up and you're that magnet of wonderfulness? Tell us about it, because I feel it. I would like our audience to really understand that about you.
Hey, you're making me blush. Okay, so you know, I've heard the magnetism comment once, maybe once or twice before, but really not frequently at all. What I have heard, and what I'm going to interpret it as, if I can translate here, I almost think it's passion. And I have been complimented, criticized, almost struck down, and literally at the same time pushed up just for being passionate about things. And that's one thing that people have said over and over, is that when I do something, I'm passionate about it. And no matter why I'm sitting down with someone, for whatever reason, I am, as best as I can be, I'm present and I'm involved and I'm excited to learn something new and be part of them and be part of their lives and share something. And I guess just passionate for life, and that's what must come through. And I think that's what people feel. And I think that's what resonates with people. And some people find it too intense. And some people say, oh, you know, you're passionate. And that's the problem, because none of the rest of us is like that. So how are we all going to get anything done? But you know, it is.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I just wanted to say, well, the way I see you and feel you is extremely uplifting. And it also carries beyond what I feel. Our chapter, because we are in BNI, our chapter has chosen you to be growth coordinator. Now, that's a pretty serious role for anyone. I'm sure it's not too serious for you, but your responsibility is growth and using your passion once again to build a chapter, but to go deep with people. So can you tell us a little bit about how is your passion and your personality, how does it go along with that of somebody to grow, whether it be a business or a chapter? Is that something that you like to do?
Yeah, absolutely. And it comes from a personal, not just a want or desire, but a need to grow. I think all things need to grow. If they don't grow, they begin to die. Whether we look at plants, we look at flowers, we look at people, animals, everything from the smallest microorganisms. You know, if we're not growing, we're dying, aren't we? And there's nothing wrong with dying either. That's a whole other story. But in our growth time, I think that it's critical that we start that within, and that when we're aware of what we're starting within, and that's growing and that's becoming something, and that's evolving and transforming, that as that happens and that process happens, that's going to affect everything around us, and that's going to affect the atoms and the molecules around us in the air. That's going to affect the energy around us. It's going to affect the people around us, and people feed off of that. And whether you believe in the universe or some higher being or whatever you believe in, whatever your belief sense is, it's going to be something where you're going to put something out into this world just by very nature of whatever comes out from you. It emanates, you exude it. That's what's going to come back. And so you might as well be exuding that excitement, that passion, that desire to just become. And in that becoming, there's the thrill of that journey and of what we're doing. And in terms of what we're doing in our BNI and the growth coordinator, I wonder if one reason why I am drawn to that is that it allows me to cast my vision, and my vision for a huge group that has the opportunity to share and pass along referrals and so on in business, but really to exchange ideas and whole concepts that come out. And I think that's with anything. And it doesn't mean we always have to do everything big in life. However, at the same time, it doesn't mean we should be thinking small. We should be thinking local and think big for local. We could be thinking on a micro level, and we can be thinking on a macro level. But for anything, I think we do best when we cast a wide vision, when we project to almost the unreasonable, grounded in reality. However, unreasonable goals, unreasonable things that we want to go to. And if we don't shoot for those stars, where we're going to end up with? And we just shoot for here. We've got to shoot for as high as we possibly can and higher. And I think that's where the excitement in life comes in and the growth comes in, and people are drawn to that.
And you absolutely said so many things that I want to retouch and recap on. You talked about transformation. Now, you certainly understand transformation. You yourself have transformed from careers to what you're doing now, and using that to be the big visionary person that you are today. Can you tell us a little bit about some of those past experiences that have brought you to where you are today, about the transformation, some of the career choices that you've had in the past?
Absolutely. It's interesting because I very rarely have ever had a job in my life. I think when I was 16, I had a job. And maybe when I was 20, I had a job for a week. But for the most time, I've always been my own business owner. I've always been my own entrepreneur. I began studying fine art, life drawing, and painting when I was 14 in a professional manner. And within about a year, I opened up an art school, and I ran a really pretty large art school as an independent school from the age of 14 to about 23, 24. And I closed it because I wanted to be an artist. I didn't want to be an administrator. And I was teaching everybody and burned out. And I just said, wow, you know, and you know, just to stop there for a second, when I didn't go in and say, wow, I'm going to build a massive art school. I just decided that, hey, I'm going to start teaching some people. And then it was, well, here I'm teaching some kids. Well, why not teach them? Well, why not offer another class? Well, why not adults? And why not offer them? And then before you know it, I have 14 classes going a week, and I have 15 staff. And, you know, it all happens really fast. And I think why is because I never realized I couldn't. I was naive and dumb enough to think I could. So I just did. And so I let that evolve, and transformation happened only because I never knew differently. And so eventually I was just working as an artist and a sculptor and a painter, and life happens, doesn't it? It always happens. And life happened, and I had a car accident. It affected a little bit of my vision, a little bit of my hands. And I just said, well, maybe this is the universe coming to me, or it's my subconscious speaking to me and saying, hey, girl, you've been doing this nonstop since you were 14. You're now 34. You've been nonstop. Maybe it's time to switch it up a little bit for a little while. And so I went into a totally different field. I went into the field of lactation medicine, totally different. And that was breastfeeding support and helping women with their choices to breastfeed, and helping families to do that if they so chose. And with a fabulous team, I built a big clinic, internationally known, and helped bring a lot of attention there. And I got published and research and all that fun stuff. And I was still an artist inside. I'm still an artist inside. It was just another part of my life that was, again, I just didn't know that I couldn't. So I just did, and just let it go.
Sorry, Edith. You know what they say? If you think you can, if you think you can't, you're right.
You're right. Exactly. And I didn't know any differently. And yet it's funny, because I once had a business analyst come in and look at my clinic and my organization, and it was large, and I was having her come in to figure out, you know, what are some of the things that really we could work on. And one thing she said was, oh, you know, Edith, you really need to learn to focus. And I said, to focus? And she said, yeah, just do one thing, because I had a clinic and an institute and a research center. And she said, why can't you just do one thing? And I said, well, why? And she said, well, you could become really good at it. And I said, well, we're already the best in the world at this. So why? But for her, that was her model. Mm-hmm. And so, you know, within about 6 months, we came really good at everything. And we just worked on getting better. And eventually I felt that, you know, my work there was done, and it was time to explore something else. So, you know, I went from teaching women, and before that, I went from teaching people about art and so on, and then I went to teaching women and families about breastfeeding, and then I went on to a totally different way of mentoring, and that is mentoring people in financial health. So it's funny, I went from sculpting breasts to squeezing breasts to talking about money, and you know what? It's the same thing. It's all the same thing. It's just a different language, different words, but I'm still teaching, I'm still mentoring, I'm still helping people understand, where are they now? Where do they need to go? What's the goal? And what's the best route to get there? And how am I going to help them to do that? What role can I play in helping them to do that? And again, when I have people come and say, oh, I can't do that. Oh, it won't happen. Well, you're right. It won't if you say it won't. So why not just not know that you won't? How do you know you won't? You don't. So let's just say you can. And let's just find a way to start. That's the hardest part, is just start, right?
Yes, and to continue as you do your vision with yourself, your business, the big vision of things. When you're seeing people, probably you see things for them. And as you did in our chapter, you threw out these numbers that some people were you scared them. But, you know, but you're so good at capturing the vision. Let me give Lori an opportunity to ask you a question, because I'm sure she has one. I was going to ask you another one, but let me give Lori a chance to ask you some things. Lori, please go right ahead.
Yeah, so I do have one question, well, a couple questions. My head is always going. So, but that's interesting how the transitions and totally different career type moves, right? But so, yeah, so I was thinking, one, I just had a great nephew. So my niece is just starting nursing. So I'm brand new mama. So that, of course, I had already sent her your website and everything because I was like, you need to contact this lady. So, but so so explain some more on like your financial health side of like what you're doing now, and then also how that plays a role in, you know, when you help people to get financially healthy, they can have more gratitude in their life because they can feel that, have that security and that comfort, and that, you know, especially like I think women have that, like that security of that financial status, you know, that they know that, you know, they're not going to live on the street next week, right?
Yeah, it's important. There's no question that I think historically, we haven't always thought that women were the ones who should be so much in charge of the finances when we look way, way back. And yet it's funny how over the last many, many decades, it usually is the woman who controls the finances, but not necessarily the decision making. And I think there's been a very, very massive shift over the last couple of decades where we've seen women take that helm and see for themselves how critically important it is to be not only mindful of where their finances are, but very much aware and in control of where the finances are. And I strongly encourage women to have accounts of every kind and investments of various kinds. And again, it's a sense of knowing, where are you? Where do you need to go? What's the best route to get there? How are we going to help you to get there? And to take action. And I think sometimes that's the hardest part, that people think, oh gosh, the goal is so big and it's so far, and how am I going to be okay? So they're almost paralyzed. How do they take action? Well, have a sense of where you are. You know, you're better off than somebody else. So where are you? And okay, it's not where you want to be. So what's the one step that we can now take? What's any one step we can take to get you started on that path? And when we take that step, we feel better, right? Just action makes us feel better. And certainly bringing gratitude into it. When we take an action, we feel better. Then we can feel grateful for, wow, I had the ability, I had the power to take a step. Now we feel more empowered. We'll take another step, and so on. And it's almost self-perpetuating. It just starts with taking that first step. And where does that first step come with? It comes with belief. So it all comes to belief. And we have to believe again. Do we believe we can? We believe we can't. And if we have that belief that's going to stop us, we're going to be in trouble. So I really work with people on belief in their financial house, making sure their financial house is solid. And whether that means I'm going to help people to just save their money better, invest it better, find low-hanging fruit, or am I going to help them make money, literally help them build a business that's going to help make them money so they have money to save? I might do both. I might do one or the other. So that's a little bit about what I do with them.
That's awesome. That's a great answer. It keeps me thinking. So let me ask you something, because I know that you can lead. I know that you're a great leader. I would like to pass the show over to you for a few minutes, or as many minutes as you can. And I'm watching the time. I'd like you to think about a question that you might have for Lori and I, or Lori or I. You let us know, and we will be happy to answer you, unrehearsed, of course, so that we could talk to you about something that's on your mind.
You know, something that gets me stuck, and I think gets many people stuck and many women stuck, is something we've mentioned, that is life gets in the way. And the question is not if life will get in the way, it's when life will get in the way. And it will. And I'd love to ask you both, because you're both quite successful and in what you've chosen to do, and you bring that success, it emanates out. Though I'm quite sure that there are things that get you stuck. And I'm wondering, what do you do to keep your focus when life gets in the way? What do you do to keep, okay, those blinders on that sometimes we need to have when things are falling apart around us? What do you do to say, okay, today I got to keep going. I got to take that step today so that I can get myself in motion and it will become self-perpetuating? What do you do to keep that focus?
Lori, would you like to go first?
Sure.
Okay.
So for me, I am very much a Google Calendar girl. And so I time block everything from the time I wake up to the time I go to bed, all my personal as well as my business stuff. So, and I don't have any notifications on my phone. I don't even have texting on my phone. Like text can come in, of course, but no notifications pop up. So I'm never distracted. I don't touch my phone for hours sometimes. And even like right now, if I pick up my phone, you'll see it's a black screen. But if I click the button and pull up my text, it'll show I've probably got 30 texts on there, but my phone hasn't beeped. It's always on silent anyway, but it doesn't vibrate. It doesn't notify me, nothing. So therefore I'm not distracted. So I don't have, social media notifications. I don't have those pop. I don't have emails pop. I check my emails when I'm supposed to check my emails when it's my time slot in my calendar. And so anytime I have those days or moments, I just know I have to stick to my stuff the way I have to do it. But sometimes I still have, I on purpose put in like break times because things are going to happen, right? Your day is going to have to be flexible to a point. An appointment's going to go a little bit over or whatever. And so during those times, then if I am having more of a struggle day or whatever, I will pull out a book from one of my favorite authors or something, or I will even YouTube or Google for a motivational or uplifting spiritual, whatever kind of mood I'm in, whatever that is that I'm struggling with, whether it's spiritual or motivational or, whatever, or even, fitness, I'll pull up a kickboxing motivation thing or something, but that way that's it. And I just, I make myself get back encouraged, and because that's it, we have to lift ourselves up, that's like they say, in the South, you put your big girl panties on and put on your bootstraps and go out there and do it, anyway, regardless. So that's it for me. I just, you can have your moments and you can cry, you can be angry, you can cry in the pillow or hit the pillow or whatever, but then you just get back up and you go and do what you're supposed to do because it's the right thing to do.
That's right. That's awesome. Yeah, the calendar is one that I have used, and when I use it religiously and make it the Bible of everything I do, I am so much more effective and productive. And when I slip from that, and I do, it's a matter of, gosh, not so productive today. Robert, what about you?
Yeah, thank you, Lori. Thank you for that answer. That's awesome. I can relate to so many of the things you said, and they're very inspiring. So I just want to recap the question. The question is, what do we do when we have one of those days, right? What do we do to bring ourselves up from a moment that may not be up? So regardless of the things that I do to keep me at the point that I'm at, when something comes at me, which is whether it's unexpected or I saw it coming, when it comes at me and it feels like it's not bringing me in the same direction, what I do is, have you ever gone swimming in the beach? I remember swimming in Jones Beach when I was young, and I remember this really big wave coming. And I remember the wave and the undertow, taking me. And I remember being with my 16-year-old girlfriend. And I remember thinking, I don't know if I know how to swim in this, but I'm really going to do the best I can. And 2 minutes later, someone came from the beach and helped me to come in. You're talking about a moment like that, right, Edith? Okay.
Yeah.
So what I did at that moment is it did my very best, and I thought about something bigger than the moment I was in. So when something hits me, I go to something bigger. I take on a bigger challenge. I go for something that would be in my quiet moment, something I would plan or I would schedule, but I go for it like that. So if something comes at me, if a wave knocks me over and the undertow grabs me, I go for something bigger and harder than I would have gone for at any other moment. Therefore, I do bring on things that come on so that I can go for it.
Love it.
That's my blueprint. My blueprint is when I go for something, you know, it's because I wasn't doing that in the first place. Like today, Lori and I had some awesome recognition from our company. You know, and we were kind of accountability partners in that. But one of the things is it took me 7 days to decide. And it took me 7 days to decide and accomplish that. It wasn't something that I had decided 6 months ago. So what I do is I reach up and I take whatever has come at me and I look at it like, this is nothing. This is something. I hope I answered your question.
Got it. I love it. I love it. Absolutely jumping into something even bigger when that whatever is coming at you almost seems too big. Jump for something even bigger. And it's amazing because that will shift your paradigm immediately. And that's what we need, isn't it? I love the answer. Thank you so much. Thank you to both of you. That's really, I love that. I love that you both have two very different ways of tackling some of the challenges that we all face on a daily basis. Thank you for sharing that.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you very much. And Lori and I do live by our calendar. And yeah, that's just to put that on the record. My calendar, my Google Calendar, I consider it my ATM machine.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm looking at the time. I don't want to end our show, but my responsibility, I'm stuttering here. My responsibility is to look at the time so that I can keep us all exactly where we said we were going to be. And I know, Edith, that you have a team waiting for you, and we certainly want to keep you on the show longer, but we want to let you know how grateful we are that you're here with us. We want to let our audience know that we want more of you, and we'd love to hear about more of you and your business and what you're grateful for, but we need to keep you on schedule so that the people that are counting on you can have you. We are so inspired. I am so inspired. I'm sure Lori is too, by your big vision thinking. We need to stand next to, rub elbows with big vision thinkers so that in case we're thinking small, if you're on this show watching us, and you're thinking small, listen to the words that Edith said. Get in touch with Edith. Edith, how do people reach you if they want to get in communication with you?
Yeah, the best thing I think is if you are in Canada, give me a phone call or send me a text to set up a phone call. Maybe that's the best thing at 416-895-5545. And if you are outside of Canada and you'd like to get in touch with me, maybe send me an email to my personal email. That's fine, to edithkernerman@gmail.com. I think that'd be a good way to chat. Yeah, I look forward to that.
Okay, well, Lori and I will post that below our comments. So Lori, tell our audience is watching and they're thinking, I want to be on the show. I want to be able to tell my story. I want to be able to ask Rara and Lori a question. How do they get to do that? How does someone get to be on the show?
Yes, absolutely. Send us your gratitude stories on our Facebook page. So go to www.facebook.com/gratitudegirls. Click message and send us your story right there. That message goes right to Catherine and I both. And we both review the stories and then contact you to see when we can get you on our calendar and something that will work for all of us together. Come back and see us. We are here every single month, the fourth Tuesday night of every month at 9:30 Eastern, 8:30 Central, 7:30 Mountain, and 6:30 Pacific.
Thank you so much, Edith, for being a guest. Thank you, Lori. I'm so grateful. This is me giving you a heart that I love you, and to our audience, thank you so much for being here with us.
Good night so much.
Thank you. Good night, everyone.